What is up, everyone? OJ over here from PlayerEssence. Welcome back to another video. Today we've got some awesome information for you guys, so let's go ahead and get right into it. And we're starting off with some big sales numbers out of Nintendo France. I'm going to go ahead and get right into all of the bullet points here. So in 2017, they announced their pretty high objective of reaching 2 million units sold by the end of 2018. They reached it and even surpassed that number by a little bit by selling 2.04 million at the end of December. 1.13 million of that number comes from 2018 versus 911,000 in 2017. So sales were up a good amount from 2017 to 2018 in France. Now the Nintendo Switch is the best selling console of 2018 in France as well. They had holiday sales comparable to those of the Wii, with weeks that it sold in the hundreds of thousands of units, which is very important because France is not as big as other areas, yet it's selling like that. So very good to hear about that. Now the Nintendo 3DS sold 254,000 units in 2018 versus the 507,000 units in 2017 for a grand total of 5.5 million units lifetime to date. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the third best-selling game of 2018 on all platforms combined at retail. The ranking is FIFA, then Red Dead Redemption, then Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It sold 1.2 million units lifetime to date in France, with 700,000 units of those in 2018, so higher than what it debuted in 2017 or throughout the year in 2017. Now there is a note on this one saying that it's a similar performance as in the UK, where Mario Kart 8 Deluxe sold more in its second year than its first year. Now, Super Mario Party is the fifth best-selling game of 2018 on all platforms combined at retail. Pokemon is 7th, Super Mario Odyssey is 8th, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is 9th. All of those titles sold more than 400,000 units lifetime to date. So basically what they're trying to say here is by the end of December, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate sold 400,000 units plus, which is not bad at all for not being released for more than a month at that point. So 400,000 units, not bad. Now France is expecting to sell more units in 2019 than they did in 2018. So that would put it above the 1.13 million that it did this past year. So very good sales across the board, especially for their big evergreen type of titles like Super Mario Party, also Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. But France is just cooking when it comes to the sales there, and that's why I always tell people, we always hear about the UK and kind of what's going on there. They have the daily sales charts where they just give us like a numbered board and we don't get any actual numbers. Sometimes they give us numbers here or there, or they give us percentages, then people figure out the math. But I've always stated, if you really want to know some of the numbers or where Nintendo does its best, always wait to what France has to say, because that is like a huge like Nintendo area in terms of sales and everything, and it's proven that right here with these massive sales numbers. 2 million units lifetime to date plus, all right? 2 million units with the Switch itself for a country of that size and the amount of people there is very impressive. That's really good, and that's another 1 million plus units that they added in 2018. So I think Nintendo is going to be very close to their goal. If you start kind of comparing some of the numbers out there, you put the 2 million plus in France alone, combine that with the rest of Europe, on top of the nearly 7 million units that Nintendo has done in Japan, and then of course the 8 million units plus Nintendo was done in the US alone, not even all of North America, but the US alone. Combine that with South America, combine that with the rest of North America and the rest of the world out there, it's definitely looking like it's going to be pretty close to what they wanted to do, or their lofty goals that they do have. But at the end of the day, like I've always said before, they're just selling a bunch. They're selling a ton of consoles. You're going to see a lot of developers hop on with more games, and they don't care whether they hit that lofty goal or not. They want to see the system moving units, and that's exactly what's happening. So we're going to get more games and we're going to get more content because of that. So that's what I'm excited the most about. And stuff like Dragon's Dogma, which we'll talk about next, is one of the things with the sales that's helping to get games like that. So what do you guys think about the sales numbers for France here? Were you guys impressed with what they had to say? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here. It does seem like Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen on the Nintendo Switch is going to be getting a physical release. And the reason for this is that on GameFly, there is a box art. Well, it says box art is coming soon, but they do have that listing up on there. Now, for those who don't know, GameFly is a physical only type of renting service. Yeah, they have games that you can download digitally, but then it'd be in that section. And I don't think this is going to be one of those games with Dragon's Dogma. So to see it already on the physical site of GameStop for being able to rent and having the release date and everything, that does give us a little bit of hope, at least here in the US, that the game is going to be physical, because usually when you see it come up on these GameFly listings, it's going to get a physical release. Digital games don't come up on here. So the fact that we're seeing it definitely says something, but we have to wait and see for Europe, because I've already seen a number of people based off of the Twitter post that this came off of saying, well, what about Europe? What about Europe? Well, we need to wait and see. There's not any confirmed actual data. Even for the US, this isn't 100% confirmed, but it's very likely at this point, if GameFly is listing it for a physical release that you can rent, that you can actually pick up and rent for however long you want and then send it back. So it does seem like it is going to be happening, but we do have to wait and see for the official word from Capcom. But either way, I think that a physical release would be good, because Capcom has been being very stingy with us when it comes to certain things, and we don't even know, even if it is a physical release, will it be the one where you have to download some of the game off of the internet or whatever the case is, like they've done for some of their other games? I don't think it should, considering that we've gotten games like Skyrim on one cartridge, we've gotten games like Diablo 3 on one cartridge. There shouldn't be any reason why we don't get a game like this on one cartridge. I don't think that there'd be too much of a problem with this style of game compared to what Skyrim did, or Diablo, or some of the other games out there. So I think it all should fit on the cartridge, or I hope they don't cheap out on us and have us download some of it, so we're gonna have to wait on that too. So even if we do find out it's a physical release, there still might be some bad news after that when we find out if it needs an extra download or not, depending on what cartridge size they wanted to use and how big the game is overall. I'm looking at some of the other stuff that Capcom has done, and if you look at Resident Evil 2, that game is like 21 gigabytes on Xbox One. You know, Resident Evil that's coming out later this month, yeah, it's like 20 something gigabytes. So if that game is like 20 something gigabytes, they can get Dragon's Dogma, a PS3 and Xbox 360 game, they can get that to an acceptable file size and on a cartridge. So I'm hoping that's the case here. So what do you guys think about this listing on GameFly for a physical release of Dragon's Dogma? Once again, the game does drop on April 23rd, 2019. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comment section below. All right, I'm moving on to the final topic here. Devil May Cry 5 is around 15 to 16 hours long, according to Capcom. So the producers of the game recently spoke about it and gave us some new information. So let's go ahead and get into what the director had to say. So here is the first questions and then answers that were set up. Why is the story set after Devil May Cry 2? The reason it's set after Devil May Cry 2 can be understood by playing the game. That makes sense. What was difficult about using the RE engine? Since the RE engine was originally created for Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, it was difficult to implement the violent action of Devil May Cry. We focused on upgrading the game's processing speed and performance. There are 3 protagonists, so how long will the game take to complete? The development team took around 15 to 16 hours to clear the game, which is a pretty good length for an action game like this. The visuals are similar to DMC Devil May Cry, but what is the future of that series? It might look that way since we were shooting for photorealism, but we weren't actually aiming for something Hollywood movie-esque like The Avengers. As for the future of DMC Devil May Cry, that is difficult to say. I can go ahead and say it for him. That series is dead, and that is like the Dante. You guys know what I'm talking about, the Unreal Engine 3 game that came out back in like 2013 or whatever from Ninja Theory. Yeah, that is dead, and I don't think they're ever going to bring that back. So will there be additional playable characters? If a lot of users request it, we may add more playable characters. So are there hidden places, items, enemies, and powerful monsters? There are a few hidden weapons. There we go. So Devil May Cry 5 is due out for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC on March 8th. A demo is due out for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One on February 7th, and I already covered that. That's the one-shot demo. If you want to hear more information about that, you can check out the channel. It'll definitely be on there. But yeah, I'm really excited for Devil May Cry 5. I'm a huge action game fan, like the stylish action like we used to get back in the day. I remember playing games like God of War, the stylish action. I remember playing Bayonetta, obviously Devil May Cry, the old school ones, and it seems like that type of game, right, where you're slashing people up, getting combos and all of that, that has pretty much been lost, right? God of War went away from that. Bayonetta's kind of taken a while to get to the next one here, and there aren't a lot of games that are like this. So I'm really happy to see Devil May Cry 5 kind of go all out with its graphics, with its gameplay, with its length. 15 to 16 hours seems like it's going to be a big game. Lots of multiple playable characters here. The only thing that I'm worried about is microtransactions, and I already talked about that multiple times. I've discussed it. This game has microtransactions tied to the progression of the game. Has me a little bit worried, but the game still looks like it's it's going to be a lot of fun and a lot of extra replay value too. They didn't talk about that too much. They talked about just the one single playthrough, but Devil May Cry games usually have replay value, so I'm expecting that as well. So what do you guys think about all the different topics that we discussed here? What do you think about Devil May Cry 5? Are you guys excited for this game? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, Ninja, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We got Facebook and Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon, Twitch, and YouTube live gaming pages. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for latest RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you, Ninja, for the next video. Peace.